why did we move our family of 5 to Ethiopia? Because y'all keep asking. In this video, I'm going to name the top reasons why we decided to move our family of 5 to Ethiopia while mixing a little bit of storytelling, so bear with me. But first of all, why not move to Ethiopia? Now, 99.9% of people, both Ethiopian and foreigners alike, have been super supportive of our family moving abroad to Ethiopia. But for that 0.1% of y'all are haters and your brain has been colonized. Anyways, let's get to reason number 1. So reason number 1, I think majority of Black people from the United States, Black Americans, African Americans, people of the diaspora whose ancestors have been stolen for Africa, however you identify or classify, but want to one day come to Africa. I think that's obvious. If you're new to our channel, you know that we live in Honduras and La República Dominicana, which is not Africa. So how did we get here? So like most Americans who are leaving, especially our generation, we're leaving the United States not because we're looking for something, we're trying to get away from something. And for us personally, that was our life in the United States. It was not healthy, it was toxic. I think most Americans don't realize how much stress they're under, how disconnected they are from the real world, from each other, how it's not a healthy place to raise children. So we were just trying to leave that. And Latin America was, in a sense, an easier first step abroad. It was closer. It's a 2-3 hour flight. I knew that I could go visit my family could visit me. We were mostly on the same time zone. We already spoke Spanish. I grew up in California. I had been around Latino culture, so it wasn't so different. And when you're leaving with 3 young children, you have to do like, what's the best move for right now? So that's how we ended up in Latin America first. But we always knew we would be in Africa one day. One day we'd go to Africa because in our minds it made sense to go when the kids were older. When they were in high school, they would appreciate it more. We would be in a better place financially, and Africa was so far. And like even thinking about how our kids would appreciate it more, our youngest son Omari, why am I saying his name in Spanish? Our youngest son Omari, like he's starting to forget. We were in Honduras for over a year. We were in La República Dominicana. He spoke fluent Spanish. People would ask us like how he speaks Spanish so well.
Quiero un banana. Papi dijo no puedas ir a la cocina. Mommy.
He's forgetting his Spanish. He's forgetting memories that we went to La Ceiba, Samo Creek. Like, he's forgetting those things. If you create memories when you're a teenager, they're going to stick with you. So it's already happening. That part is pretty sad. So yeah, reason number 1, Africa was always the place that we were gonna go to one day. But there's over 50 countries in Africa. So how do we end up in Ethiopia, right? And it's the farthest away from where we live. So if somebody wants to be connected to their family still, how do we end up the furthest away? Reason number 2. I'm gonna be honest, we went to the ISS fair. So it's an International School Services Fair. Highly recommend if you're an educator wanting to go abroad or work in education, nurses, occupational therapists, managers, admissions officers, highly recommend that you go to this fair to look for positions at schools abroad. So yeah, Ian and I went to this fair and we fell in love with the school. Like we fell in love with our current job. So we work at the International Community School in Addis Ababa, and the representation there, and I don't just mean like skin color. I talk a lot about, Blackness on this channel, but the representation as far as the people there, like they were so honest, they were so loving, they were so open, they were every skin color, they spoke every language, and we were like, this school sounds amazing. But if you're an educator or if you're a human being, you go to a job and you're like, this is not what you sold me. Luckily, what they told us is what they show us every day. Like we absolutely love our school, like love it. It checks everything. And the irony is when we were going to the fair, Ethiopia still at this time was not on our radar at all. We were at the ISS fair hoping to go back to Latin America because we still weren't ready to go to Africa, if that makes any sense. Stick with me. So at this time, again, if you've been with us, we have had 3 moves. We went to Honduras, which we knew we were like, we're gonna be here for like 5 years. Our son's gonna graduate from middle school. Then high school, we're looking for somewhere else. It just did not work out for us for various reasons. We went to Dominican Republic, fell in love with the school, the community. When I tell you I miss Cabrera y Puentes and Esperanza so much, but If you know, we had to leave because my father got ill. I ended up being my father's caretaker for the last 6 months of his life, along with other members of my family. And it was devastating. Like, that's all I can say about it. It was devastating. It's still hard to talk about now. That being said, that 6 months of going to the United States, taking our whole family of 5, we had used all our money. Like, I'm not gonna lie with you. We used all our money. That's what happened. I went to the States and things are so expensive as far as finding housing, food, medical bills for my children, for my stepdad. We could not afford to go back to where we were in Dominican Republic because we were making so little. Like, it cost so little to live where we were, but we knew if we ever wanted to go back home, if there was ever an emergency again, I could not go back again because we had depleted all of our savings, which is how we ended up back in the international world. Let's be blunt, working into an international school, there's so many benefits outside of being exposed to the diversity, to being exposed to so much culture and languages, but financially it puts you in a better place as a teacher, because as a teacher, 2 teachers in America with a family of 5, most of us are barely making it. We're barely eating. So that's how that happened. Reason 3, I think I'm on track, y'all. So, got to the fair, fell in love with ICS. My husband was actually the person who was like, I want to go to Ethiopia. I want to go to Ethiopia. At the time, my stepfather was still alive. And I honestly, to this day, just thought he was going to pull through. I just knew there was going to be a miracle. He's going to be perfectly fine. And even he was like, I really want you guys to go to Ethiopia. Like, I don't want you to miss out on this because of us, because we were now doing the research. So, reason 3 is learning about Ethiopia. It's never been colonized. Come on, let's be real. Like, that's incredible. There's no debate to it. Like, that's amazing, especially for a person who is I'm a person of color, I'm Black, to be living on the country that was never colonized. That's where I live. I live in the middle of greatness. So you can't argue with that fact. But as you dig deeper into Ethiopian culture, and obviously there's no country that's perfect. I get sick of when people look down on some of the challenges that this country has. Like, there's not challenges in the United States. There is extreme poverty in San Francisco and LA. There are, I would say majority of adults are self-medicating every day. They're stressed, they're depressed, they're overworked. So they're self-medicating in that they're functioning alcoholics, they're taking prescription pills or non-prescription pills. Like, people are just functioning in the United States. I'm not here to trash talk where I'm from or where someone else is from, but this was for us. The beauty I see in the culture here, the pride I see in the people. I swear, if you haven't been to Ethiopia, it's like Wakanda. Like, I see Black men just dap each other up. I see women dancing, like hair braided, the drums. It is like Wakanda without, obviously, what is it called? The kryptonite? I don't know, whatever the stone that they have. That's all Ethiopia is missing out. So yeah, reason 3 is culture, the beauty, just the connection. I don't think I've talked about this on our channel, but there is a word that I hear all the time. Habasha Forangi. If I'm saying it wrong, like, y'all will correct me in the comments if I'm saying it wrong. Habasha is like anything that's Ethiopian. Like, y'all told me to go buy the Habasha eggs. Y'all were right. Don't get those Forangi eggs. But even when we're walking down the street with other foreigners who are at the school, because we're at a school where people are from New Zealand, Brazil, Georgia, the country, those people are Forangi. When I walk down the street, me and my family, I'm always sister. I'm always welcome home. I'm always, we're happy you're back. It is the most beautiful thing. Oh, I'm trying not to cry right now. But that's beautiful. Welcome back. Even in the comments, go to my first YouTube. It's just welcome home, welcome back. Hello family, what up sis? Like, it is so beautiful to be, in the States, I'm a foreigner and I'm a foreigner in Ethiopia. I'm a Black woman on this planet. Where do I belong, But here, I just feel so welcomed in my family. I can't explain it. It's amazing, y'all. Reason 4. Now, Ian and I, when we came here, I'm gonna be honest with you, we are kind of like on a time limit because I really do miss my family, and I wish I could convince my family members they are not ever gonna move to Africa. Maybe my dad, but the rest, they're not. And I'm gonna miss my kids being able to see their grandparents or their cousins or just their relatives, but then also their culture. At the end of the day, even though I've been welcomed with open arms from the people in Ethiopia, I am American. There are some music, customs, cultures, holidays, how Black Americans relate and move through the world. I do want my kids to know. So I see all to say is we'll be in Ethiopia for a while, but not forever. It's just too far. And you know, I say that now, 2018, Habesha time, 2024, quarantine time, who knows? But right now I'm like, okay, we'll be here for a while. And while we're here, reason number 4, we want to be able to explore other parts of Africa. You cannot fly from Atlanta, Charlotte, and pay for 5 tickets to come see Africa every year. But while we're in Africa, Addis Ababa has so many direct flights. We took a direct flight here from Atlanta. There's a direct flight to Tanzania. There's a direct flight to Senegal. There's so many, they're expensive. They're not as expensive as living in America or Honduras, but this is an opportunity to explore other parts of Africa as well. And Addis Ababa has so many flights because there's so many things happening in Addis Ababa. And that's even outside of Africa. Like if we want to go to Europe or Asia, you can get to Bangkok, you can get to Turkey, you can get to Greece, you can get to France. So it's an incredible place to be if you want to explore this part of the world. I hope that answers majority of the haters in my comments. Or just the people who are naturally curious, because some of y'all are just naturally curious. We love it here. We've been here for a month now. I know nothing. I know this much. When you guys watch my vlogs, it's literally just world from our lens. But I hope no one's taking this as me as the expert. I know nothing. I know this much. What I have experienced and what I do know that we love. We don't have any regrets so far. Are there challenges? Yes. The language. It is extremely challenging, but everyone has been so patient. I think that my family and I are able to see the beauty in the country. We realize that we moved to Ethiopia to experience Ethiopia. We're not here to, you know, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. When in Ethiopia, do what the Ethiopians do. Like, I'm eating injera with the rest of y'all. Walking down the streets with everyone else. I'm living within the community. I love all the beautiful things in it. So that's the reason. I hope that answers y'all's questions.